Where'd you go?
I'm there in spirit.
Yo, homie, what it is?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about today. There's so much happening.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. Oh, shit. I invited Xavier and Armand Adibi to join us, so we'll see what happens. See who pops in. How was the weekend, man?
I was just trying to get over the cold because tomorrow I go to Italy for a week.
Oh, shit. Well, at least you go to Italy.
Stop in the Rome, see the Pope.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Pope. How you doing,
We've
Pope?
got a Catholic priest around. I'm bound to get one good blowjob.
You're fucked up.
Some of those old guys might have that old fucking remedy up the butt. Squeeze the balls.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good thing my mother's not the Pope. Jesus.
Hey, did you see that post I put up on Instagram?
The one of us from last week? Yeah, thank you.
No, a new one just today. A new one today.
The one about the doggies, and I almost cried.
After that one, I cried in that one too. I was watching it at the gym. I'm like,
yeah, I can't watch those things. I can watch people murder them.
I can watch people get killed all the time. I'm like, you deserved it. But as soon as I see animal abuse or a dog die,
I can't do it. I can't.
Only because I've been through it, and I can feel what those people are feeling while you're holding your animal.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, does he know he's going to sleep? Does he think he's going to see me tomorrow when he's just,
Yeah, no. It's just that. That happened to me.
I put up the post about, I put up Linda's fucking Atlanta show she had last year and the prize money breakdown where she pays the men more. I said, you can't tell people to pay more money to the women when you don't do it yourself.
That's a good point. I don't know, but I'm going to agree with anything Linda Murray says because
I would too, but I got another. I'm gonna look into it. Let's just say when I put that up, someone contacted me who's in this industry, right? Hey, I'm on. How are you?
Hey,
what's up, dude? Thanks for joining us.
What's up, guys? How are y'all?
So, and the person said to me, she's very self-serving and selfish.
Linda Murray.
She's a great role model. I thought she was a wonderful.
I just think she's gorgeous. And
still is. But you don't go telling Arnold where to put his money when you pay the men more yourself at your show. So pay the women more at your show. But then this person told me, Jake Wood. Let me shut this door. My cat's yelling at the fucking dog.
I was like, what's that? I was like, what's that noise?
What's up, Armand? How you doing, man?
I'm okay, man. It's been a rough week. One of my best friends, she passed yesterday.
Oh yeah, sorry to hear that, man.
It's been a rough week, but it was crazy. A month ago, she was fine. It was just like overnight. It was like overnight. She was in the hospital. This is aggressive cancer. It was just like they gave her 2 months, and she lasted not even the weekend. So
sorry to hear that, dude. But on a better note, I have been using your pre-workout that you send me, and it's pretty damn good.
The pump one. No, there's no stim in it, right? Oh, there's stim one.
No, you sent me the stim.
Oh, you like stim. Oh, I forgot you like stim.
Yeah. And it tastes good too. It tastes like Hawaiian punch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it on your it's not on your website yet?
I think it's on my website, but I think the AMG website will be up next week or the week after.
I forgot the name. What is it? What's the name of it again?
AMG Labs.
No. The stim, it's like the actual name of the
Wicked Force.
That's it. Wicked Force. All right.
As I was saying, when this person said Linda's self-serving and selfish, because this person in the know, I'm going to look into it just to make sure. So don't shoot the messenger here, but they said for the last 10 years, Jake Wood's been giving her a pension of $100,000.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
For what, Lee?
Being Linda Murray, he likes female bodybuilders.
Wow.
So she's not going to talk about the women's money.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Jake Wood is he likes the muscle ladies.
Yeah. Are you saying it ended, Lee, or it ended?
They just said for the past 10 years, Jake Wood's been giving her a pension of $100,000. I said, is that like 100,000 over 10 years? That wouldn't be much. It'd be 10,000. Yeah, I couldn't see that. So,
right. Yeah.
So, and then, like I said, I posted up her contest breakdown, and she pays the 212 guys, I think 8,500 first place, and the women's physique 3,500. So don't go telling Arnold where to put his money when you don't do it yourself, Linda. And I respect you and you're great for the sport and role model, but fix your own backyard before you go play in someone else's.
I like Linda.
Well, a lot of people are, putting the prize money up. I remember that Ali guy would complain about his prize money and the tax. Of course, there's taxes. Taxes suck. We all pay them. They suck. Like we all pay them, and he's like, where'd all my money go? The taxes. That's where they go.
And even with the Arnold going up to 750,000, the higher you go up in money, the more tax you pay. So I remember
there's got to be a lot of write-offs, though. There has to be.
I do. I write everything off because
there's got to be loopholes because
I write off all those healthy meals I get.
What are you paying? 47%, 48%, in that because that they consider it one lump sum, right? So I think you're paying 47 or 48% if you don't have write-offs or things like that. So I'm sure there's plenty of fucking. You get yourself a good account.
I put down meals, clothing for shoes, seminars,
everything,
chiropractic, anything, because my body's how I make a living. My tax guy, the first time I did it, they're like, "What's these meals?" I said, "Well, I got to look a certain way for photo shoots. I wouldn't normally eat this food. This food costs more, so I'm writing it off."
That's right. Yeah. So tell us what you're going to be doing in Italy.
Just some seminars.
Where?
I think Milan. Yeah. And Tuscany, and then I'm going to Rome because my Alessandro, the pro bodybuilder, Alessandro, he has that company. He had that stuff to water. I forget what it is, but he knows his top cardiologist for sports people there. So he saw my things. He goes, "I don't agree with the medication." My thing put me on a statin for high cholesterol. My cholesterol is not even really high, but they said it'll be preventative. But I feel crap on a statin. So he goes, "You shouldn't even be." So I'm going to go to Rome on the Monday and see him. He's going to do more tests and put me on proper medication if I need it for.
So is somebody sponsoring you to go there, or how does it work?
Yeah, they're paying for it. The gym over there where I'm doing the seminars at, they pay for the airfare, accommodation.
Very nice, man. And yeah, I'm sure you'll be making some fucking mucho dinero, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad.
Well, that's cool. Just the whole trip, and all that too.
Really. Are you bringing the
trip? Is the only thing I hate about the trip is when I leave here, it's 15 hours to Doha, then wait 5 hours and another 6 from there to Italy.
Yeah.
That sucks, bro. You want me to teach you some Italian by the time you get there? You'll learn some words.
No, if they don't understand me, fuck them.
Oh, okay. Just thought
don't understand you.
Once I get to Rome and I see the Catholic priest, I drop my pants and the universal language of love.
All you got to do is do this. That's it. That's all you got to do. And make this face like a confused face. And that explains everything. Anyway, Armand, should we talk about Larry Wheels?
Yeah.
Sure, of course.
Before you go there, can I just say one thing? In conspiracy theories, I don't believe that the government or people didn't know that Joe Biden had cancer, stage 4 prostate, because it doesn't go.
God, such fucking bullshit.
The president has how many health checkups and blood tests, and he didn't pick that up.
Yeah, that's bullshit. But that's another
health checkups.
Yeah, that's another podcast. But it's the Democrats are just becoming. They're just becoming evil people. But anyway,
you probably would have saw that post I put up too, where the Doge just found that 55 million was going to the Taliban every year.
What? What'd you say?
I put up a post where Elon Musk and Jesse Waters and that they're in front on a big table with people, and they've been going through the stuff, and they just found that all this money going overseas, 55 million was going to the Taliban every year.
Anyhow, all right. You're gonna piss me off, Lee, because
yeah,
I'm a proud American. I really am. It's fucking
the world's corrupt.
Let's talk about Larry Wheels, because I can't stand that fucking guy. I really can't. I fucking hate him.
I don't understand how you can do classic and open bodybuilding. It's the judge different. You either do one or the other. You got the physique for one or the other.
Yeah,
I put my clients in. Listen to this. I'll put clients in shows like. In a couple of shows, my clients have won men's physique, classic physique, and bodybuilding all in one show. Just because, they have a good physique for men's physique, and then the bodybuilding division, no one's in condition, so they win the bodybuilding division, and the classic division, the same thing. There might be some guys that might be a little bigger, but they win on conditioning. So I've had a lot of clients, they win all 3 classes just because.
Hey, bring a wig and a bikini. Bring a wig and a bikini and say you go and fucking bikini as well.
Yeah,
right. But here's why I can't stand Larry Wheels. Okay. Yeah. Here's the reason. I've said this before, but I'm going to go in depth a little bit more. He blew up on the scene in social media a few years back being a powerlifter. And, started making a lot of money on social media. He was getting endorsements and making a ton of money. And basically, the guy is being paid to figure out what he wants to do. So he went from powerlifting, then he did strongman, then he did arm wrestling, then he did bodybuilding, then he did classic, then he even did that slap fucking thing, right? And then he went back to bodybuilding, and he went back to classic, and he's not even informative or influential. Like I've learned nothing from listening to zero. Nothing.
I learned what not to do, so I don't tear muscles. I learned what not to do.
Oh yeah, right.
But John, most of the stuff that's most viral on the internet, of the people with the most followers, you don't learn anything from.
It's true.
The most popular. You can have somebody that's giving out amazing information, maybe 100,000 followers, and this other person like millions of followers, and they're just jumping off the pool. They're jumping into a pool.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. It really
that's
is.
Just the way it is.
You see, at the expo, you'll have 8-time Mr. Olympia at the expo. Small line. You'll have an influencer that doesn't do shit. Have a line out the door.
I enjoy the Trend Twins more than I enjoy Larry Wheels, because at least the Trend Twins are fun to watch. They're nut jobs. They beat the shit out of each other in the gym, right? They're psychopaths. Larry Wheels is just fucking boring. And he was really good when he was a powerlifter. I'll grant him that. And I mean, look, he got on stage, he got his pro card, okay, but there's just nothing. There's nothing. I don't understand the attraction. It just blows me away, And from what I understand, I don't know. I heard from one source that they were booing him in Ireland.
They were. I had it in there. They were. Yeah, they were.
They were.
And then like no one was hardly clapping at all. Like I think only some friends of his were clapping. That was it.
Yeah, so I'm not the only one that.
Now he's challenged Sam to a contest.
What a jerk off.
And that in person there at the blood test, you can detect it with prostate, with your PSA levels.
Your PSA levels. Yeah.
I actually shit in a box to see if I had prostate cancer. That's what I did.
Yeah.
They send they send you the thing. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to stick my finger up your ass, but you could shit in this box and send it out, and that's what I did.
Maybe your mother has an odd remedy for checking your prostate.
Yeah. That's
I hate to know what it is, but
this whole time it was just checking for prostate cancer.
Yeah, that's common, man. It's scary, Like I went last year. And I was because I was having trouble because since I was a kid, I've had blood in my urine. It's not visible, but I've always had blood in my urine since I was a kid, and they could never figure it out. They did all these tests. They put catheter down me. I remember when I was like 22. I had to get where they go in with a scope with a camera, and you're awake when they do this. And have you had it done, Lee?
I had a colonoscopy.
No, not a colonoscopy. They go through your pee hole
and you're awake,
bro. I had a little bit of blood, but I had blood in my urine once, but you couldn't see. But they said it was one of the side effects of statins can be a bit of blood in your urine.
Statins can be bad for your kidneys. Yeah.
Jesus.
You're right. But yeah, I've had blood made my whole life. And when they put that camera in, I knew going there, I medicated myself. I took like 3 Xanax and I was awake. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And then, okay, he's like, okay, we're about to go through the prostates. It's going to hurt even more. And so I guess it goes through the prostate somehow through the bladder. And yeah, that was a fun experience. And I'm convinced since that day, they tore it somehow because ever since then, I never can pee the same. There's always it's never a stream straight. It's always
off to the
Armand, I got a question for you. Because every week I do Anabolic Academy, and I didn't have time to look up the question. But the question is, why do orals like Anadrol and D-bol kill your appetite?
They're just mess up your digestion, dude. They do. They're just harsh on your digestion and your organs and everything. Even though like certain orals like Anadrol and D-bol, they're supposed to, but like Anavar's not supposed to, but
Right.
it does. Like it does in me, and it does in a lot of people I know too. You know, even though they prescribe it sometimes. Well, one of the things that's prescribed for is for appetite, they can say, but all orals kill my appetite. I don't know about you, Lee. I was never big on orals though, because they really messed your.
It's like I'd use dianabolic before a show and I'd lose my appetite and feel. But I think it's like anything that's got some toxicity to it, and you have it in your stomach, it makes you just feel. Well, I'm like that sometimes. Sometimes if I'm in a rush, I might just have a banana and take some vitamins, and even normal vitamins will make my guts feel shit if I don't have food in my stomach.
Anadrol or D-bol, I could never do those though. I mean, literally, every time I would try Anadrol or D-bol, like the second or third day, I could just think of food and I would like gag. I couldn't eat at all. Like
for me, it was always dose related. Like if it was under 50 milligrams a day, it didn't affect my hunger. But if I went to like 100 milligrams a day, oh, forget it.
Who does that? I tried that once and felt sick and had a headache.
Yeah, it would make me same thing. Like Armand said, I would gag. I felt sick. It was horrible. So if I kept it under 50 milligrams, it didn't kill my appetite. But over 50, it was just fucking horrible.
And then you got crazy people that can. I had a buddy, he used to eat like 5 Anadrol a day, and he could eat like all his meals, and it was crazy how much.
Because it affects everybody differently, right?
I had a mate that took 6. I didn't know he was taking 6. He comes to me in the gym one day. He said, "Lee, I got a question." I said, "What?" He goes, I got something wrong." I said, "What is it?" He goes, "I'm urinating blood. I've been taking 6 Anadrol. Do you think that's bad?" I said, "You really have to ask me if you're urinating blood if that's bad."
Well, I think the best story of orals I ever heard was King Kamali's story when he was in the Middle East, and the guy who didn't speak English, and he's asking him how many D-bols he should take, and King was telling him milligrams, and he goes, "No," and somebody translated. He goes, and the guy goes, "No, I just take a handful." It's like, Jesus Christ, we just take 20 at a time. Holy
a lot of
shit.
old school guys are like that. When I, at Gold's Gym, Arlington, when I was growing up, the older guys I would hang out with, like when I was like 16, 17, getting into bodybuilding, I would hang out with like guys that were like 30, 40, whatever. And they would just, before just dump it in their hand or just throw in their mouth. So it could be like 8 D-balls, 15 D-balls, 10 D-balls. So that's just kind of
who used to do that? Eddie Giuliani from Gold's would always tell me when Arnold pretty much come over in his younger days when he had his little V-dub. In the back, he had a big bottle of Dianabol. He goes, he'll do that. Sometimes he just put his hand in, grab 10, another day 15, another day 20, and just take them.
I always heard that about Arnold too. Yeah, I always heard that about Arnold too.
You really? You did?
He would just because all the people was like, "Oh, Arnold didn't take much." I'm like, well, the stories I like were passed on were like he would take handfuls like in the gym, going to the carbs, whatever, D-bol or what else ever they had back then. I'm not sure.
Didn't take much compared to what? Compared to who? Do you know what I mean? It's like
compared to today, he didn't take much.
Yeah, it's like if you're a professional bodybuilder, odds are, with some rare exceptions, you're probably taking a decent amount of anabolic steroids, and if you're taking, let's say, 1,000 milligrams of test and 600 milligrams of Deca and 100 milligrams of D-bol, that's significant. It might be not significant compared to maybe somebody else, but it's fucking significant,
I did seminars in England, and I had young kids over there tell me they're anything from 2 to 5 grams of test a week. I'm like, where the fuck do you put it? Where the?
And same thing with me. It was always dose related. If I ever went more than 1,000 milligrams of test, I would get sick. I would feel terrible. It would never do anything more. Then I remember I would lower it to 750 and then lower it to 500, and I would get the same results. So it was always dose related with me.
Armand, do you remember Trevor Smith from Nuclear Nutrition, Armand?
Yeah. I didn't know.
Like a huge guy. He was like a good friend of mine. I used to train with him sometimes. Yeah. The guy was like 400 pounds, but he did that because I'll never go over 400.
He had a site enhancement oil. Didn't he used to sell a site enhancement oil? Yeah.
Like he used to be like, Lee, imagine if you took more, And I was always on, if I took sus 250, I'd take 2 mil. So if it's proper, it'd be 500. Sipping 8 down, my sweet spot was 400. It's like, let's get you on more. So for a couple of weeks, I went to 800. And like you, I felt like shit. I had no appetite.
You feel horrible.
As soon as I went back to the 400, I felt good again.
Yeah. No, that's the God's honest truth.
Some people's physiques can take it, and I think like Lee, like he responded, really well to lower doses. I think if Lee probably took like 1,000 or 1,500 milligrams a test, he'd probably just be puffed up and just get side effects. That's all he really needed. And so I think a lot of people, like I have guys that their genetics suck, and they do have to push it a little more. But a lot of times their body takes it and responds really well to it. Then other people, they just don't need that much, or you'll get them to back down, and they're like, "Wow, I can take half the amount and still make the same gains."
Did you ever talk to somebody, maybe in the gym or whatever, and they tell you the doses they're taking, and you're like, and they don't look like they're on anything, and you're like, Jesus,
tons of people.
You're taking that.
They're the ones when I do seminars, I can just see I'm doing a seminar. Like, what do you take? I'll tell them 400 a test, Diana Bowl, 30 milligrams a day. They're like, because then later on I'll talk to them. I'm like, what do you take? They're like, I'm on 500 a tren every 5 days, 800 this. So in their mind, like I said, they look like shit. So they're thinking in their mind, if I'm taking all this, I only look like this. He looks like that. He's got to be taking more. It's like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
No. I know you guys probably seen it because we saw scroll. When you scroll fitness stuff, we all see the same stuff pretty much. I mean, just in the last week, there was, I think, 2 guys. One guy, he was eating pizza after a show. He's like, oh my gosh, after whatever many weeks, finally, some pizza again. And this guy didn't have one ab. He didn't look like he dieted at all. He just had huge gyno. And another guy posted a video just like that. And he had like all this acne, gyno, and barely any muscle. And I'm like, you get all the side effects, but no muscle gain. Yeah, to me at that point, I don't think they're eating their meals. I don't think these guys eat.
At that point, I think you just have an addictive personality, because if any time I've tried something and it didn't work or I didn't like the effects, I didn't use it. And I could go down the list, like IGF-1. I used it a couple of times. It just made me feel sick. Never use it again. EQ never did much for me. So I tried it a handful of times, never used it after that. Anadrol. I've used Anadrol. I always got better effects from D-bol, so I'd use D-bol instead of Anadrol. It doesn't make any sense to me. If it's not producing the results that you want, why are you taking it? It just blows me away. So I think a lot of these guys are just have addictive personalities.
You know what you need.
They don't know what's working either, though. They take so much they don't know what's working either.
No,
when they start, Lee, you start. We all started with something like either test or D-bol. We didn't throw it in like
start with one drug. I did that. I started with Deca for 6 weeks. I put on 20 pounds. I waited a couple of months, then I did tests. That way I knew what drugs worked. I said, these young kids go on 4 different drugs at once. They're like, oh yeah, it's working. I'm like, how do you know which one's working? Maybe only 2 of those 4 are actually benefiting you. That's why you got to take one at a time, see the results you get from that, see how it makes you feel. Then you can, if you do go to put 3 or 4 together, at least put ones together that actually help you. But I've got a nice cross for you. I actually got the Vin Diesel cross from Fast and Furious, and I can see you channeling Vin Diesel today with that top on there, John.
You like it? Actually, you want to know what happened? Why I'm wearing this shirt?
Not really, no.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. My
it's a white shirt. What's the problem?
Yeah, it's a thermal. It's a white thermal. So what happened was we have 2 cars. I have my work car, which is a Hyundai, which I go drive back and forth to work because it's 4 cylinders, and then we have the BMW, and then I have a motorcycle. What?
I said it's very economical.
Yeah. And so I have a motorcycle. So I had to bring the Hyundai in to be serviced because I'm having some issues with it. So I rode my bike to go back and forth to work and to the gym. And I was riding home on my bike because it's cold, because I don't have a fairing in front. I just have ape hangers. And I was wearing this underneath my sweatshirt. And I was like, oh, shit, it's almost 8:30. I don't have time to get changed, and here I am.
Can I show you something real quick? Look, it's coming high tide. and the tide's coming right up today. Look at this. Look at this. Can you see the river coming up?
Did you hear anything I said, or you don't give a shit?
I heard, but I don't give a shit. I heard, but I don't give a shit. See the river? See the river out there?
Yeah, that's a beautiful river.
That's nice.
Coming up high because it's been raining for 2 weeks. Build the
All right.
ark.
We have to get to the elephant in the room here.
That's pretty.
All right,
I
we
want to
have
ask you about Larry Wheels. One question more.
Go ahead.
Why did he go to Ireland to qualify? Was that the only place he could get his pro card?
To get his pro card.
Because he can't.
Was that like when Victor Richards went to, remember Victor Richards went to Nigeria, and there's a photo of him on stage. If you ever see it, here's Victor Richards, massive, and he's competing against these guys that look like they come from the local tribe. It's like,
yeah. They got a bone in the nose and shit.
The classic guys look good. Think if it was USA's, Nationals, think if he showed up there, he would have placed top 10 at those shows.
No, and he's done it. He's tried before, and he's gotten killed. He's gotten his ass handed to him.
I was at, and then he didn't even care to switch trunks. He just wore his classic trunks.
Yeah,
on the bodybuilding stage too. When I have clients do it, they have their bodybuilding trunks.
Yeah,
they have their classic trunks. They put it. And then I remember that when he did nationals, I was there because I had 2 clients in that year. One of my middleweight turned pro, or middle or bantamweight turned pro. But he wore like this. They weren't posing trunks. It looked like a diaper. It was like white. It was like a Speedo type thing. Like it was white. Yeah, dude. I was like, I'm like, the people that were around him, like, said, okay, you should do a bodybuilding show. You didn't have one friend that told you, hey, these are the trunks you wear. Like they were. It was like.
At least Sam Sulek competed in America. Yeah, at the Arnold, they said there wasn't many, but that's not Sam's fault. He went to the Arnold to compete. So,
right.
At least he did it here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got to get to
the bodybuilding was decent though with Arnold. The bodybuilding was harder. So Sam won the bodybuilding at the Arnold, but the classic he won fair and square, I think. Yeah.
What's the elephant in the room, John?
We got to talk about Nick Walker winning the New York Pro, and if he can go on and win the Olympia.
Yes, he can.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later.
Well, I only think that because I know Bob. I saw Bob on a show again, and Bob's like, no, I like that exchange Milos and Bob had. Who the fuck said you could do this? And that's pretty amusing.
Yeah.
But I look at it like this. Yes, Derek got the first place vote, but to me, it was still tied. To me, they were equal. Derek beat Mr. Olympia Sampson at the Arnold. Derek's been Mr. Olympia. So to me, Nick and Derek are pretty much equal. So if he comes in Olympia even a bit better and they're a little bit off, he's got just as much a chance as if they say Derek can beat Sampson at the Olympia, so can Nick. Nick can beat Sampson, because pretty much to me that could have gone either way with Derek and Nick. So
yeah, I agree. Get on, Mom. I want your opinion on this.
I agree. Even though I really dislike Nick's physique, I mean, I don't like it at all. The short, stumpy legs, the varicose, all of it. I mean, I'm not a fan at all. I mean, that guy's big. I mean, he's big, and he's way more impressive in person too. And these other guys, they slip. Derek, since Nick's turned pro, like he pulled out of those couple shows, but Derek is consistent. Like he knows what works for his body. It works. I think this offseason, I think he always stayed in too good a shape. This offseason, he got a little fuller and fluffier, and I think that worked to his advantage because just from behind, the comparison, like his legs to Derek's legs just from behind, they were almost double the size, like almost from behind. And these other guys are slipping. Sampson slips all the time. He has trouble coming in condition. Yep. Derek, started having this leg issue like with Hani, and then we thought they got it fixed, right? And then it went right back to the same way where the legs look thin up there, don't they, Lee?
Yeah. And the thing is, too, the only thing I found when I looked at it, when you hear even Tyler explain it, then Bob Chick talk about it, to me, they were equal. It almost come down to a beauty contest in the end. Nick let his stomach out every now and then. Or then Bob was saying maybe the varicose veins went against him. So it really wasn't his body and muscularity, anything else. It just seemed to be little nitpicky things.
I heard that about Bob where he said the varicose veins. I think Tyler and Steve, they basically said it was the only thing that they could decipher at the end was that Nick let his stomach hang a little bit. That was it.
If he holds that in,
close. It's varicose veins doesn't have.
I don't think they're going to say that though, John, because listen, so before I was judging, and then when I judged for about 6 years. So I asked, like, the head judge and everybody at the time, like, do we count off, or when I got counted off for my gyno one year. I got placed third place at junior nationals. I should have got first. And afterwards, I talked to Lee Thompson, our state chairman, and I'm like, how did I get beat by those two guys? Like, how? Like, I was like ready at 215. I didn't compete at the heavies that year because Michael Liberatore was coming in. He was like a lot shorter than me. So I know he had the heavies. And so they said, you lost because your gyno, but my gyno was terrible. I got it from taking the Avodart for your hair, because I started taking it like 12 weeks out, and I just started growing gyno, and I never had gyno issues. And they said, you got third place because of that. So and then when I was judging too, when it would come close, and let's say someone had a prettier physique, or they had, like, let's say acne, gyno, or, or especially like a lump or bump from a bad site injection, you would count down. So I think they say that, but I still, like what Lee said, kind of like a beauty contest, I still think they looked at Derek and said, well, he does have a prettier physique, which he does. And then
which he does, yeah.
Well, today you got gyno, you could just say you're trans, and that would be transphobic.
Yeah. What was impressive to me this weekend at the New York Pro is Nick won, like, it wasn't even close, right?
Right.
And it was a good lineup. It wasn't like it was a good. Bonac looked good. He was in shape. Crizzo was in shape. Regan Grimes was in shape. Sas Harati was in shape. These guys were like, it wasn't like he beat a shitty lineup. He dominated a really good lineup. Bonac would have been New York Pro champion, right? And then you put him on stage next to Nick, and Nick just looks 3 times the size of him. He literally made Bonac, and I'm a Bonac fan because I love his physique, but he literally made Bonac look like a 212 bodybuilder again. He was just like so much bigger.
Different strokes.
What'd you say, Lee?
I think he made him look like Arnold from Different Strokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Nick will do anything and everything to be better than everybody, whether it's in the gym, eating, or taking whatever. I remember when Boston used to troll him really bad, and I really think Boston made him a better bodybuilder, because he caught Boston. We were talking one day, and Boston and him talked. I believe it was on the phone or whatever, and he told Boston, like, dude, you hurt my feelings. Why do you pick on me all the time? And Boston's like, dude, I'm just playing. That's just how Boston was. He wasn't malicious with anything. He would just troll people, and he wasn't doing maliciously. But I think that made Nick a better bodybuilder, because everybody told Nick, you can't do it. Your waist is too big. You can't do it. I think Nick works harder and will do anything to get there.
And that's what scares me, because when I watch him do that interview on stage where he says, I'm giving notice, I'm looking at him thinking, you're young, you're so big now. And I know he loves his family and that. I don't think he's going to go crazy. But for a split second there, I just flashed back to Dallas McCarver. I'm like, I don't want to see another young guy pass away going too crazy to reach their dream, which I think Nick isn't that sort of into mind. But like you said, sometimes when you want a title bad enough, you'll do anything to get it. And
yeah. I also like the fact that he has one trainer, one guy working together. And I don't care what you say. If like a guy like Boss of Outlaw has 10 different guys that he's helping and training, he can't give you undivided attention. All right. And it was the same thing with who was the guy before Boss Outlaw that he left bodybuilding because everybody.
Honey.
Who?
Honey.
No, not Honey. The guy
Chad
before.
Nichols.
No. The guy that was training.
Patrick.
The guy, Patrick. Is it the guy that was training Sean Clarita, and then he was training also
Matt Jensen.
Matt Jensen, right. Matt Jensen was like the go-to guy, and you can't tell me that's not a problem. You can't tell me that your trainer who has 10, 15 clients, top guys, can give you undivided attention. It's impossible. So I think
I called it with Matt like years ago when Matt first came in. I was like, where did Matt come from? Because he was friends with Dallas, and that's how he kind of got in. And he was I've said it before, but he was
from.
Right. No, right. He was paying for certain clients like that had great genetics. He was paying for all their stuff so he could get them as clients and then make a big name for himself. And it did work. So it did pay off. He was paying the Black British guy, Nathan D'Asher. He was paying for all his gear, and he was staying at his house. His wife was cooking his food. I mean, that's what he was doing with these guys. And I said, this guy, he's just there for him. He's babysitting them. The drug cycles he gave out were insane, because I got numerous clients from him, and he's going to come in. He's going to do well with a lot of people, because people want to be told, yeah, it's okay to take this much stuff. Tell me a lot of food, and all the genetic freaks, turn pro, and all the other people he prepped, you never hear about them because they never do anything, and he just takes their money. And then he's going to exit when that doesn't work anymore, and all the receptors are shot. And then that's when he didn't know what else to do with Nick. And then he left, and all his guys started doing bad. And then what's the short black guy? He used to prep too. He even said on a podcast, when Matt would send me my program, I would literally take half the gear he had.
Charles Griffin.
Yeah, Charles Griffin. Yeah, he said that on a podcast.
Yeah, Charles. But these guys, they don't learn their lesson. All the guys that were Matt Jensen, they jump on to Boss of Outlaw. It's like, it's unbelievable. That's why I liked Derek's choice with going with Chris Aceto, and I liked Nick going with somebody that he just trusted. And even though nobody knows this guy, apparently he trusts and he knows him well, and he's doing a great job with him. And it's one-on-one, and it obviously is working.
Do you think subconsciously, if you've got all those guys, right? Say you got guys, and this one here could be a winner for the Mr. Olympia. This one here you think could be, and say you're training 6 of them that are going to be in the Olympia, but one of them who you think it's got a better chance of winning, and he's getting in shape quicker. Are you going to give him more attention because you're like, oh, here's my chance to train an Olympia winner? So if you see this one's a little better, you're going to be more focused on getting him in better shape than these others.
That's exactly. I had Fred Smalls on, and he was George Farah was training him during the time when everybody was going to Farah, when it was Kai and it was Branch and so on and so forth. And he said exactly that. He said he would run to his room, tell Fred what to do, when he was gone, and he was spending all the time with guys like Kai and Branch and so on.
I was in Kai's room and only 5 minutes with Fred.
What'd you say? Yeah,
it'd be like a couple of hours in Kai's room, but only 5 minutes with Fred.
Yeah,
but right. Also with those guys, John, you would have guys say, "Hey, can I pay you double to pay more attention to me?" And they would do it. I mean, they would do it. That happened all the time. That even happened with me with certain clients. I had clients in the same show. They're like, "Hey, could I pay you a little more to pay a little more attention to me?" I said, "Listen, I give y'all all the attention, like equally. I'm not favoring anyone. I bring all y'all your best. If he beats you, he beats you. If you beat him, you beat him." But when they run the guys like that, like I was at the gym, one of my gyms I go to like 3 months ago, and this other guy he's like, "Yeah, I was trying to hire the Boss of Outlaw guy, and this guy is he's a classic pro, but everybody's a classic pro now, right?" And he's like, "But he didn't have a spot for me, or he was trying to get me to his assistant because he couldn't get a hold of him or something like that." I'm like, I don't even bother telling people, like, you don't understand. When he was doing good with like 3 or 4 guys, that's doable. When you take on all these people, there's no way you can go.
No way.
Because if you're out these big shows, you are having to go to their hotels, or I have the people usually just come to my hotel. When I was prepping a lot of people at one time, and you check on each one, and more than at a big show, let's say at the Arnold, more than 3 guys is too much. More than 3 or 4 guys, that's just I think that's too much.
If I was getting, say, 4 or 5 pros ready for the same show like the Arnold, just to squash all that bullshit, I'm going to look, you might not like it, but I want you 4 guys in my fucking room, and I'm going to talk to you all at once. I'll tell you what ought to do differently or separately, whatever. But that way you can't say I'm spending more time with one or the other. Don't be scared of seeing each other. You're going to be on stage anyway, so what's the fucking point? I'll bring you all to my room and give you all your instructions, fix what needs to be fixed, and then you can go off and do it, rather than people go, "Oh, I think you spent more time with him," or "I think you spent more time with him." No, you'll come to me and I'll fucking talk to you all equally for the same amount of time. That's
actually a really good idea. Here's the worst, in my opinion. I know a lot of guys disagreed with me on this topic, but the worst was when Hani was training Derek and Hadi at the same time, and they were battling for the Olympia. And in my head, I'm saying to myself, how could I have my trainer training my number 1 competition, the guy that's looking to take my head off. I would never in a million years be able to operate that way. I would want my trainer, us against them, and that's it. Like when it was Kai and Farah, and it was Hani and Phil, and they would just that was the teams against each other. I could never. And then I remember they were both signed to Hani's fucking company.
Yeah.
And then the next day after Derek lost, he had to do a photo shoot or a video with Hadi. I would get the fuck out of here.
What's weird too?
I mean, Belichick wouldn't train the Patriots and the Jets at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, Mom, what were you gonna say?
What's weird too is when before the shows too, they both fly in early. Hadi comes in early too, and they're training every day together. That's weird. Like that's your number one opponent, and you're trying to act all friendly and all that, but in your head you're like, this guy is trying to take literally 75% of my paycheck I'm going to make if he beats me at the show. And so
like, give me a spot. Okay.
Hani though, the problem with Hani though, Hani never competed at a high level, so he doesn't know probably Lee wouldn't do it, you wouldn't do it. We've all competed. I think Hani did a show, one show he said naturally when he was like a kid or something like that, but we all would never do something like that. It's like, dude, that's common sense. These guys are going like that, and you're having them all like, oh, we're just a team and we're all buddy. No, this guy's trying to win this much more significant money than me and all this stuff.
Even just the title. If it was just like a Ironman pro show, so you'd be like, yeah, it's okay, it's a pro show, anyone can win it. But when you want that title of Mr. Olympia and he's your main competition, and say he beats you, in the back of your mind you'll be thinking, did Hani give him just something a little bit better? Did he dry him out that little bit more? You're always going to have that little bit of doubt in the mind.
100%, absolutely.
Did he give me that little bit extra carbs to smooth me out and gave him less? You'd be questioning it.
What's the incentives too? If they had more incentives to make more money because let's be real, Hadi is a bigger money maker, obviously, because he's going back to Iran. He has all those Iranian people. So if Hani, is gonna do that easily, he'd be like, okay, spill him over a little bit and him take this, and I think Hadi is still with Imogen, and then Derek is not.
Hadi gets me 1,000 stores in Iran compared to only 50 stores in America.
They built a fucking bronze statue of Hani and Hadi rather in Iran. It's unbelievable. He's like a god.
The money he's bringing in for Imogen, just think of that amount of money.
Yeah, right.
Versus Derek.
Yeah. So yes, Blue, the O is going to be incredible this year. If Nick shows up the way he showed up to the New York Pro,
I think he will.
It's going to be a problem for everybody. And
there's no injuries before the O for Nick.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And he has every chance of being Mr. Olympia, because like Armand said before, Samson slips sometimes. He did at the Arnold where Derek beat him. Derek slips sometimes. He did at the Olympia. And even Hadi, Hadi came in second last year.
Hadi might be his hardest because Hadi, even he's slipping, he's still pretty good. Like that time he wasn't at his best, he was still pretty much better than everyone else. I think Hadi would be his toughest when it comes to conditioning over the other two.
You know what was
if Hadi is on, I don't think nobody can be Hadi if he's on.
Yeah,
his quads, just the outer sweeps of him, just his physique is
and he's got that tiny waist,
that conditioning. No one has that grainy conditioning like him, and
but Nick's rear double by really impressed me, because when you talk about rear double buys, you talk about Derek all day long, and there was conversation, even me saying that Derek has the best rear double buy in bodybuilding, and you could possibly put it up as in the top 10 ever. And then Nick comes along and he's just as good. And as a matter of fact, at the New York Pro, his hamstrings and glutes were tight and even harder than it was at Pittsburgh. He was just so impressive that if he comes in like this and anybody slips 5%, he's slamming the door.
And that's why
like Lee said also, with his health concerning that, he's in this mode right now where he's like no one thought anyone I could be Mr. Olympia ever. I'm in this. I'm going to do whatever it takes, and just what is he doing to his body just to go into the Olympia now? To just you got to have someone to tell you, hey, we got to take your foot off the pedal a little bit and make a little break to make sure you're not gonna because how hard they're pushing at that level.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of time. How much? He's got what? When is the Olympia? October.
16 weeks. 16.
So he's got some time he could take off and enjoy himself and maybe clean out his system a little bit and
about a month or so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but is he going to do that?
You're right. I don't know. I hope he will.
Blast and cruise.
But it's a really exciting time for bodybuilding.
No, I like how they call it the health phase now. I'm in my health phase.
Is that it? Is it health phase?
Seriously, what they call it? I never even heard of that.
Yeah. Even my client the other day, he's like, "What are we going to do for my health phase this year?" I'm like, "What are your health phase?" So
come off everything completely. There's a fucking concept.
No, that's not a health phase. They still stay.
It's like that RIR. Someone's saying RIR. Like, what's RIR? Oh, 1 rep in reserve. I'm like, what the fuck is all this bullshit these linkers are coming up with? Just fucking train, you fucking morons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, what is that?
Yeah, somehow, some way, stiff-legged deadlifts became RDLs, and I was like, "What the fuck is an RDL?"
What's an RDL?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Romanian deadlifts. I guess your butt is a little slight. One's stiff, and one's your butt slight little.
Oh, another guy that we have to talk about. You got to give him his props, man. Is Sas Harati. This guy. Keeps fucking competing. He's doing Cali. He's dying for his Olympia qualification, and he keeps coming in really good shape. And he just keeps competing and competing and competing. He's dying to get that fucking qualification.
Regan's doing Cali too, isn't he?
Regan's doing Cali. Hopefully Regan, learns from his. I think with Regan it was just stage rust. He hasn't been on stage in a while, and he was sweating and his tan was running a little bit and. I just think it's just
better than that. Can he be better than that? I think he could be maybe 5%, but I think
absolutely.
I think that's how Regan is. Yeah, I think maybe 5% better, but I don't see Regan being that much different. I mean, he just had a baby. You got to take that to account too. He's got a little one now.
Yeah,
your perspectives change in life, and he's not one of these guys that's willing to push it hard. I mean, he went out to the camel crew. He got scared out there because they were pushing it too hard. So
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. He'll go hard in that, but he's also got his family priorities and that wants to be around for a long time. So he might go hard, but not to the point of detrimental to his health. And then again, it's like I said, who knows? Even me taking 400 could have been detrimental. We don't know what our limit is really, but it's best to be err on the side of caution. But has there been a list of names yet for the Dubai Pro? Because they're giving out good money there. Who's that?
I know. I don't know the names of the Dubai. I don't know.
What's the exact date of it?
Let me see. I don't know when the Dubai Pro is. I only have.
Didn't they put up more this year? Didn't they put up to 130 or 40,000 this year?
Wow, really? Yeah. Well, listen, they want those guys to come and compete, and they want people to fucking.
Don't tell Linda.
Okay, New York Pro. Cali is this weekend. Legion is the weekend after that. Toronto's the weekend after that. Empro Classic in Spain is the Dubai Pro, June 20th to the 22nd. There you go. And then after that, it's China. Is Milo still working with Regan?
No, I don't think so.
I thought Regan was Boss Outlaw too.
Another one with Boss Outlaw. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. They realize I don't understand people like find the
guy that knows the shit that knows what they're doing. That's going to take only a few people on at that level and stick with that person. There's no magic potion out there. I mean, even the Boss Outlaw guy, they got him on a podcast. They're like, "What are you doing with these guys?" He's like, "There's nothing. I'm literally just with them. I travel with them. I watch them on closely." The problem is. When these guys spill or don't do well, it's usually the coach has too many clients or they don't know what they're doing. I mean, either or. If you there's a lot of people that are really good coaches, some you never even hear about probably that know their shit.
Absolutely.
But they're just not getting their due because they don't have a top name, Olympian or something like that. But there's a lot of guys that know what they're doing. They're just not getting the same clout because these guys at the higher level, they're not easy to deal with. And you got to understand, a lot of people wants to be their coach so they get a big name. And so everybody's kissing their butt. They're getting stuff for free. So that's just how it works now.
I'm going to give someone basic drugs, basic training, lots of cardio, but train their ass off. Who can I take on and get them to be a champion? I think Keon, come to me. I'm going to have Keon win the Open from one giant.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to train Keon and Sean Clarita and Angel Calderon. And
only want one.
And somebody's got to win. It's like
I want to see. You got to take someone like that looks like shit and make them good.
Yeah, and that's why I always Harney was called the pro creator. I'm like, who did he create from shit to a pro? They're already champions when Harney got him. Nothing against Harney, but they're already winning fucking big shows when he got him.
Yeah, listen, that's
my grandmother could have got Ronnie, those people in shape. My grandmother could have got Phil in shape. Here, eat some chicken breast, do some cardio, and take a bit of gear. The genetics are so good, anyone could get him in fucking shape.
Oh, absolutely.
I hired Hani for 2 years. I was trying to bring one of my friends over with me because I didn't want to prep him at the time because I was too focused on myself. Hani would not take him on. He says, I don't think I can make this guy a top pro. And I said, right. He literally said to me, his neck's too long, his limbs are too long. I don't think I can make him a top pro.
Forrest brings up a good point. I forgot that Martin was working with Boss of Outlaw, and apparently we heard that he was looking great a week or two out before the show, and then
he was way off.
He was way off in the show.
I'd never seen him looking so good when on that podcast, and Boss of Outlaw said, I'm going to send it to you now, but please don't show anyone. Fuad was just going, I've never seen him look so dried across styrations everywhere. And even Fuad's like, I'm not saying this because I sponsor him. He goes, I've never seen Martin look this good. That's why I even had Martin fighting for first place at Pittsburgh and from all this talk. And then he just showed up. He wasn't on and he apologized and everything. But that's why I've always said it. If you are looking that good a week or two out, don't fucking do this hocus pocus the last week. You're going to fuck it up.
But they were trying to come in bigger too because he said he was 10 pounds heavier, right?
8 pounds heavier, something like that.
That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight to be,
especially in a short period of time.
People don't realize if you lay down 8 pounds of just lean chicken breast, that's a lot of meat to put on your body.
It's a lot.
But it really is. I think they try to come in bigger the last few weeks and not maybe cut back enough. I don't think he probably was doing cardio. And I think they just, nothing was showing on Martin. Martin is a great bodybuilder.
He had a layer of water on him.
Yeah, he has beautiful shape. And the thing with Martin, if you come in harder with that shape and the roundness, you're going to look bigger. Even if you're a little bit lighter, you're going to look bigger.
Exactly. 100%. Exactly. Let me tell you, I think he is going to try to redeem himself as well. I don't know if he's going to take off and do the Olympia. He is qualified. He won the Prague Pro. But
you're going to do New York to redeem himself a week later. You had a week. They could have pulled it in 1 week and gone to New York. And
some guys have a difficult time dealing with the when they drop the ball, and some guys could get over it really quick. I'm not saying that that's Martin. I'm just saying that that's a possibility. Maybe he'd said, I'm already qualified. I won the Prague Pro. Let me just hold out till the Olympia.
I don't think he'll compete until Olympia.
Yeah, and he's going to try to redeem himself by that point. And if he does come in shape, he's another guy that's a big threat on that stage. He looked great last year. What did he come in third, fourth? He came in fourth. He looked fantastic.
But he's one of the even younger guys too. So if he keeps his head straight, give him another year or two. If he can actually improve, because you know how it is, Lee. You get to a certain spot and then that's your best. You can't get any better. You're only going to get worse. So
the only thing you work on there is conditioning and muscle maturity, and even muscle maturity alone, just getting that. You look better and look bigger. Like Dexter and Sean Ray got to the point where they never got any bigger, but their conditioning and muscle maturity made them look better every year. The detail got better. Everything just got better, which gave the illusion like, oh, my God, look at him again.
Yeah, what's funny is
I think he's like 27.
He's a young guy,
maturity really comes around like age 30. I think that certain look and
I got it at one, but I peaked early.
I know. You got it at 14, Lee.
Yeah,
I peaked too soon.
You got the.
How old were you, Lee? How old were you when you got suspended from the IFBB?
The first time.
First time.
I could have been one of the youngest to do the Olympia. I was just turned 21 or 20, 94. I was 22 when I first got suspended.
Wow.
They should have took into account the age too. When you're 21 or 22, you're retarded. When I was that age, I was so stupid. Like at 21,
yeah.
like,
Look at me now. I've grown up. I'm not stupid anymore.
he can't help it. He keeps his mouth shut all the time now. He doesn't let anything bother him.
How much I've changed over the
years. He doesn't get. Once in a while, I'm on. Once in a while,
that's the reason I got my pro card back, people. Just so I can get suspended again.
yeah. I'm on once in a while.
06 was my last suspension. So no, 010 when they suspended me for life and that. So I'm due for another one.
Once in a while, I'm on. I'll look at the comments when we do me and Lee does the show together, and I usually ignore the guys who say something stupid, right? And then all of a sudden, I'll see Lee Priest, and he's just having an argument in the comment section the day or 2 days after with some fucking random person that I completely ignored.
I'm like, you stupid cunt.
Yeah. I ignore people too. I don't even give them.
Hey, I got time on my hands. I enjoy it. I'm
Lee
giving
likes
attention.
doing that. Lee enjoys doing that though. He likes fighting.
Apparently.
Look, the only time they get attention is at Christmas time when their Uncle Bob comes to molest them. So I'm just giving them the attention. I'm just filling in the gaps to Christmas.
That's it. That's right. Listen, you're doing them a favor, man. That's how it works. Oh shit!
A lot of people was giving Chris shit for his back posing, but you gotta understand he had a shoulder surgery like 4 or 5 months ago. Like I had double shoulder surgery on this one. It took me 2 years to get back to the gym. Yeah, once they fix that rotator cuff, it's like to turn your arm back like that is very hard.
And it's almost like you got to bend your whole back. Just
so what he was doing, he was going up like that, and he was coming forward like that because he couldn't turn his arm back. Give him another his posing does suck. Don't get me wrong.
But it was probably the best Chris we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean he's the only one that has fibers all throughout his shoulders. Yeah, you don't see that with the other competitors now.
Yeah, and again, he's with Farah and Farah only, and it's working. We are definitely a species that's destined to be extinct, and it's like you look at what works and people ignore it, and then they just go back to what doesn't work, and it's like, well, what are you fucking retarded? It's like
George will keep him healthy. George is not going to tell him to take much stuff now. Yeah. George is a different kind of George than he was years ago. He will keep these guys healthy. That's his most
he had a big scare in his life, right? With the cancer.
Yeah.
He had a huge scare in his life. One more topic, and then I'll let you guys go. I've had Bob Chick on my show once, and I treated him with a lot of respect because he's Bob Ciccarelli. He's been around the game a long time. I let him speak his mind, and I thought he deserved that respect. I disagreed with him on one thing about Phil. It was about Phil Klahar doing I forgot what he placed, and I said he shouldn't have placed that low, whatever. But for the most part, I gave him all the respect in the world. Why do people dislike him so much? The points that he makes and his opinions are one thing. But is he just not a likable guy? Because people fucking hate him.
That's the way he's he's got a dry sense of humor, but I think it's the way when he talks and he's got the deeper voice, it just seems very like in your face, almost like you're getting scolded by your father. No, this is the way it's going to be, and blah, blah, blah. I think even when Fuad brought up the black curtain like 2 years ago, and he's like, that's never going to happen. Stupid idea. It's like not even consider it, going, okay, we can look into it maybe. It's just like, no, it's like this. It's almost like you said, your father, we're not doing that. I've told you, go to your room. It's almost like, I think it's his delivery sometimes on the way he just talks and says stuff that rubs people the wrong way. Just some people just seem like, lighten up, have a swap. But like I said, Bob and I have had our run-ins, but I enjoy it. I like watching that show with him and Sean sometimes. I agree with a lot of stuff, and that it's entertaining. So I don't know. I think too, once you get to that point, people just get on the bandwagon. I remember someone was talking shit about me, someone I never met, and they're like, oh, Lee this, Lee that. And then I read the comments, oh, Is he like that? Well, I fucking hate him too. It's like all these people just started hating me because somebody else said they hate me. So
they don't know if they actually would sit down with that person and just had like a lunch with them, they would probably love them after that. With most people, like they don't. I mean, people say all the time, "Oh, I don't like Armando." Like, I'm like, who's that person? I've never even had one conversation with them. Like, I don't even know who they are. But Bob too. Like he, when I was in Texas judging all the shows, he was at every show because he emceed like every single show, and he was always around. But I think also maybe the way he carries himself, he's kind of like it could be taken as like I'm better than everybody, but some people just see that, just kind of like that. And I think you know, when I first started judging, I felt like he was like that, but I never got to know him though. I never really had any conversations with him. It was like short hi there, whatever. But I think that way too, just the way he carries himself, and you know,
people always say I hate Lee. Then they get to meet me, then they're like, "Fuck, I really hate the cunt now."
yeah. But there are some people that like Lee. Perfect example. Everybody loves Lee Treese, with the exception of a select few, right? But for the most part, Lee could say whatever he wants, and people love him, right? And then there are people like Bob who, makes an opinion that he doesn't think Nick could ever win the Olympia, which is not an invalid opinion.
His opinion.
And
I think they went too hard on him. They went too hard on him. They went too hard on him.
Oh, Bob?
Yeah, it's just his opinion. I mean, I think they went too.
And the whole 8th place thing was just a joke when he goes, "Who am I, Nick? Who am I? I'm the guy and he just picked 8th place out of his head. I'm the guy that's going on down for you in 8th place, and then everyone ran with that, so he just played back into it. So yeah, people got.
You really think he's going to get 8th place? Obviously, yeah.
Like Bob was just having fun because now, what was he on a show the other day? And he said something. Oh, he was on with that one with Milos and that. And he said something about, Nick could get as good as 6 or 7. So like, so you're going to say Nick can get 7th now? And he started laughing. So, it's just like, it's just. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it's the way he presents himself. I think he has this energy where he thinks he's better than everybody else. I don't think it comes across that way, right? And like I said, certain people could say things and it doesn't bother anybody, and it's the most crazy thing. And then there are people that just give an opinion, and people fucking hate him.
But
also the rep thing too. Like Lee, did he ever rep you guys? Like I never saw him repping anybody. I never understood that whole thing. Like,
he said he did talk to. Or he said he talked to Mannion for me when I was trying to get my pro card back, and he said you have to do this, do that, and write a letter. But I didn't write the letter. I think my sponsor at the time wrote the letter. I'm not writing the letter to apologize for shit. But it's like, I think it's just like me when I say shit. But, I've been in this sport long enough now that everyone knows I'm fucking retarded. So shit that comes out of my mouth, it's like, what's that meme I sometimes see? It's like, I think what I said, it goes, I'll have to find it. It's like, it says something about I'm just as shocked as anyone else what comes out of my mouth because I don't even know. And it's true because I remember a few times I do those shows with Dave and I'm just talking whatever. I'll sit there and watch it. I start laughing. My wife's like, why are you laughing at yourself? I'm like, because I've never heard myself say that before. I just say shit. I don't know what I'm saying. And then I'm like, fuck, did I say that?
Tell Oman what you said about Hadi with the backpack.
At the Olympia, I said, yeah, if he doesn't win, just look around for backpacks, or if he leaves a backpack somewhere, fucking run. and people got upset by that. It's like, it's just.
Hey, his fans are that. His fans, a lot of his fans are that crazy, I think.
Yeah, but
if I have to stop over in the airport on the way, I might get taken off.
But could you imagine if Bob Chick said that? Like if Bob Chick said that, they would be calling for his head on a spit, right? It's just
he would be blackballed. He would be blackballed.
yeah. But Lee Priest can say whatever the fuck he wants.
You see Bob in one of those videos in the orange jumpsuit on his knees, and the guy behind him with the knife.
Yeah, exactly.
Do y'all remember those videos? Those were brutal.
Brutal. Not use a sword, but what gets me is though, were they drugged up because you're going to get killed. They're going to kill you. If I'm kneeling down, they're standing behind with a knife, and I know what's coming, I'm going to be trying to run, worm away, squirm. I'm not going to sit. It's like if I start running, at least they might shoot me or something. But I'm not going to.
Weren't their hands tied behind their back and their feet?
No,
I don't remember.
I remember one of them. I watched the whole thing. This guy must have had a butter knife because he was just hacking through this guy's neck, blowing. Well, you ever see that one too of the two cartel guys where there was a guy, they were both kneeling down, the drug people were there, And all of a sudden, they must have been like, they're both kneeling down, and they get a chainsaw, and the guy's here and the guy's there, and he starts cutting through his mate's neck with a chainsaw. Blood's going everywhere. He knows he's next. They put the chainsaw down and get a little knife and start. I'm like, can I get the chainsaw?
The pit bull one's bad. I don't know if you guys saw the pit bull one with the Mexico. I guess it was cartel. It was just eating the whole guy's crotch out. It was just ripping it out.
All right, I'm gonna throw up now, guys. Thanks.
I gotta go
that sort of turned. That gave me an idea. I might get my dog's teeth removed and just put peanut butter there.
I watch law and crime, and lately I've seen like 3 people in the last few months, with their animals all the time. It's like it's very common.
Didn't some woman get arrested for that? Some woman was doing it and putting it online. Her and a dog or something. I'm like,
OnlyFans.
She got like 5 years. One girl got 5 years on law and crime for having intercourse.
Yeah. Oh my god!
It was the only thing. It was the only thing OnlyFans suspended was that girl.
Is her dog going to wait for it? Is the dog going to wait for her to get out?
Yeah. Did you hear her defense? Did you hear that girl's defense after she got thrown off OnlyFans for screwing her dog? Her defense was, "I'm giving him joy. Look how many people hurt animals all over the world." And I'm like, wow.
His tail was wagging, so I hear.
All right, gentlemen, I gotta call it quits. It's been over an hour. Aman, thank you very much for coming on. Lee,
thank you.
We will be in touch, but Lee will be on a.
I'll try. I don't know what the time difference is when I'm over there, but yeah, send me the link and I'll try get on when I'm in. What's the time difference from you to Italy?
I think it's 6 hours ahead of me.
I'm ahead. Okay, so that would be. What time do you do it there now?
So no, it's not going to work. So it's 8:30 p.m. now when we start, and then I think you're 6 hours.
That'd be like 2 a.m.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll just get on to
you.
fucking jump in on me.
I'll wake up just for you. I'll do it while I'm laying in bed. Hi, John.
We don't care what time it is.
Yeah, right.
I did it with Dave from Rome when I was laying in bed, remember?
Did you really? Jesus Christ. All right, gentlemen.
And also do that at the same time in Rome.
Have a good trip, Lee. Have a good trip, bro.
Only if you wear that white shirt.
Yeah, enjoy Italy. And if you need to know any Italian phases, just let me know. Phrases. Yeah, that's it. Just do this. That's it. You got it. That's it. Pizza. All right, guys.
All right. Good night. See y'all later. Take care.
Later, fellas.